Alright, so let us finish up the chapter by continuing from where we stopped from. We are looking at types of control systems. No, rather the types of material control systems, right? Material control systems. So we saw the first one, which is the order level system, right? We talked about the order level system, and we did couple calculations on the order level system. We talked about maximum level, minimum level, reorder point. So now let's look at the second system, which is the periodical review system. So with this system, right, a variable quantity are ordered at fixed intervals. So what we're saying, that variable quantity, that means the quantity ordered will change, but the ordering will occur on fixed interval. So we know that the procurement department is the one that actually orders or makes all the purchases or procurement, right? So there's a committee inside the procurement department, right? And this committee is called the internal procurement committee, right? It's made up of different people, right? So this committee will meet at fixed interval. Let's say every 3 months they will be meeting. So we have this committee called the IPS, the Internal Procurement Committee, meeting at fixed intervals. Let's say after every 3 months. So we have after 3 months, they meet again after 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So it's fixed interval. So they will come to discuss on how much to order, right? They will meet to discuss how much they should order. So they will determine how much they need when they meet. So maybe they will meet. They might say that let's order 40 tons of our material this time around, right? Next time around, they might say let's order 4.5 tons. Next time around, they might say let's order 3 tons. That's why they're saying that it is a system where a variable, we are saying it's a variable because it's changing. But what's not changing is the is the is the interval when the committee is meeting. So they will meet periodically on a fixed interval, and they will make a decision on how much they should order. That's why they're saying that they make variable, the order, it's a system in which variable quantities are ordered at fixed intervals. So that's to do with periodical review. So let's talk about another system known as the two bin card system. So in this system, two bin cards are used for monitoring inventory movement. So you have your two bin cards. We talked about a bin card, how it looks like. So you know, a bin card is recording receipts and the issues. So you have your bin cards. So you have two bin cards like that. So here you're recording receipts, here issues like that. Here receipts, issues, right? And your balance section as well. So one card is for operation and the other is for reserve. When the operational card is empty, the procurement procedures are initiated. So before I go to the bin card system, I'll just make a little example, right? So this system might also be used in our homes. So maybe we might have 2 buckets of white flour for cooking, ufa, right? So we have 2 buckets. So what this bin system says is that you'll be using 1 bucket, right? 1 bucket, 1 bucket, 1 bucket, 1 bucket, right? When 1 bucket is over, right? That's when you can start to initiate the procurement process of another bucket of mufa. Now you'll be using this while the procurement process is on its way. So maybe you're halfway, you might have the other bucket, right? So you'll be using this. When this is over, you start to the process of procurement. That's how the bin card works. So the bin card is working. So you have this one, the operation. The operation is the one that you're using, right? Operation, and this is the reserve. So when you have two bin cards, when the operational bin card, right, shows that there's now zero, right? There's zero balance of that material, right? That's when you can start to initiate the procurement of new material while you start to use this one. When this one is over, you initiate again. It continues like that. It just swaps like that. So one is over, you start to order another one. You use the other one comes in, you order when it's done, just like that. That's how the bin card operates. So you have two cards, one the operational, one the what? The reserve. When the operation is empty, you will commence the procurement process. Now let us look at the economical order quantity, also known as the optimum order quantity. So you might see somewhere they have said optimum order quantity. They still mean the economical order quantity. So with this system, the amount of inventory is to be ordered at time for purpose of minimizing annual inventory cost. So with this system, they use a theory that there are costs that are related with ordering, and there are costs that are related with holding. So you have ordering cost, and you have holding cost. So what we are saying is ordering cost would mean like expenses like maybe shipping, making arrangements to actually buy. There might be expenses that are related to that. Maybe you have to go to the internet and book, or you have to pay some fees. Those are ordering costs. All costs that are relating for the items to actually come to your premises. Those are ordering costs, right? And the holding costs are these costs that are related with holding the inventory. So we'll see a list of those. Like for example, carrying cost or holding cost are the same, right? So we have the holding cost the same. So holding costs are things to do with interest on investment of working capital, right? You are losing the money. We could have invested your money at the bank and earn interest, but you have bought a lot of inventory, which is just staying there. That's the cost, opportunity cost. In other words, we have made that one in economics, right? Opportunity cost. You could have taken the money and put it in the bank, bought a bond that will earn an investment which would earn interest, but you have chose to actually tie up your cash in inventory, just staying. You are not utilizing. You are storing inventory. So property tax, insurance. So you need to insure your inventory. That's some cost that are related to what? To holding inventory, because you can't just hold, because companies need to ensure they need to be guaranteed that their inventory is safe, so they will do some insurance. Storage cost and handling cost, deterioration and shrinkage of inventory. You should know that when you actually keep your inventory, there are risk of deterioration. That's a cost to you. Absolute of inventory. That's another cost. So what we're saying is, should we actually order the items at once so that we minimize the time that we order, so that we minimize their order cost, right? But we know that we should be incurring what? We should be incurring holding cost, right? Holding cost will be increasing. While if we try to minimize our holding cost, that is ordering few stuff and holding few stuff, it means that we have to order many times, meaning that our ordering cost is going up. So with economical order quantity, you want to find a good combination that will minimize these costs. So you're saying that you want to with this system, you want to come up with an amount of inventory to be ordered at one time for the purpose of minimizing your annual inventory cost. So you want to find a good combination. Which is the good combination where our ordering cost and our holding cost together will be at the lowest. That's why it's called optimum. So you're actually getting the best out of what? The combination. That's why it's called optimum combination or optimum order quantity. So that's to do with E or Q. So we have a formula that is used to calculate the amount of inventory to be ordered at once. So the formula is the square root of 2 times A, which is demand for the year. So you have to come up with the demand for the year, times cost of placing order, or let's just say ordering cost. And CH over CH means cost to hold 1 unit of inventory for a year. So that's it. So you have 2 times demand for the year. You can just say D. In other people they say D, right? Times ordering cost, right? And holding cost per unit, right? Per unit. So that's the formula. So for example, we can have this one. So let's look at this example. Pam runs a mail order business for gym equipment. An annual demand for the Trico Flexor is 16,000. The annual holding per unit is 2.5, and the cost to place order is 50. So we have our demand being 16. We don't know what the units are. Maybe 16 units inside there. Our annual holding cost per unit is so you have that. So you have your 2 in the formula, right? Your 2 in the formula. Then you have times your demand, which is 16,000 per year, times your ordering cost, which is 50, over 2.5 as your demand. So if you multiply this, if you solve for this one, you find that the answer is 800. That's how you're supposed to do it. So what you are saying is this is the most optimal level of quantity you need to order to minimize both your holding cost and your ordering cost. That means anything above won't be at the lowest. This is at the lowest. So we're saying, for example, if I was to come up with a second graph that is illustrating that, we're saying that maybe it's like this. So this one is the most optimum where it's intersecting, because whenever, for example, this is holding cost, this is ordering cost. So for example, I choose to hire this, it means that I'm gonna reduce this but increase this higher, so it won't be optimum, but this one will be the most optimum. That's why it's called economical, right? Coming up with the lowest cost. That's economical order quantity. You just have to know how to apply the formula, right? The formula. So the question is, we can have some more questions that can come after this. I just want to follow up questions. For you to find the, let's call, how many times they will make the order. How many times they will make the order. So, for example, we are saying that the demand is is it 16,000? Yeah, 16,000, right? And they need to order 800 every time. They are making an order, they need to order 800, only 800, nothing less, nothing more. So how many times will they order during the year? So it will be divide. So it's going to be, so to here we're saying 20. They order 20 times. 20 orders during the whole year. So, in other words, the formula to find orders is economic order quantity, no, rather, the total demand, which in this case they used A, right? Like the total demand of the year over the economic order quantity. That's how you find it. So how do we find the ordering cost, right? The ordering cost. The ordering cost, we are going to say ordering cost, to find the total ordering cost during the year, we're going to say number of orders during the year, right, times the ordering cost per order. In this case, it was 50, right? Let's just say cost per order. So we have found that he's going to order 20 times, right? Every time he's ordering, he's spending 50, right? That means the order cost in total is 1,000 if you multiply. That means he's going to spend 1,000 for the whole year to actually order the demand of 16. Let us look at how we can find the holding cost. How can we find the holding cost? So for us to find the holding cost, right? Because the number that was given there, 2.5, was per unit per year. But what is the total holding cost, right? For us to find the total holding cost, we're going to say economic order quantity over 2, that we're finding the average, times holding cost per unit. So in this case, we found that our EPS or our EOQ was 800 over 2 times our holding cost per unit was 2.5. So if we multiply this, it will be 400 times 2.5. So if you multiply that, that's 250 times 4, that's 1,000 again. So that's how you find. This will be important. It's not expanding the manual, but this is important because they actually gave us an exercise to do, which they required us to do this. So it's not explained there, but that's how you have to do it. So, for example, before we see that example, right, let's first look at the assumption. This is one of the most critical parts that they might ask when they're asking critical economic order quantity. What are the assumptions, right, that underlie the economic order quantity? So the first one is ordering is constant. They assume that ordering will be constant. One, the rate of demand is constant. The rate is constant. The lead time is fixed. It does not change. It's the same. The purchase price of the item is constant. No discount is available. So they're assuming there's no discount. Right? The replenishment is made instantaneously. The whole bunch is delivered at once. So we're saying if we're ordering 800, it will come at once. Right? Not that they will deliver 400, then 400. No. Those are the assumptions that underlie EOQ. So we need to have this by heart. So let us go to the exercise that I was talking about. So this is the exercise. So let's just go through it. The order of material of KL has caused concern in the past, according to the chief accountant. There has been occasions when an excess amount of stock has been carried forward beyond any possible demand, and when the problem has been addressed, the stock level cuts. Orders have been unfulfilled and sales lost because of company has run out of material KL. The chief accountant has now said he wants a policy that achieves the following aims. So have you seen that sometimes they had too much inventory, right? That they would actually carry on to the next year, or too less inventory. That means they were not managing their their inventory well. So he wants a policy that will achieve this. Adequate stock of K&L, thus minimizing the risk of squeeze and production disruption. This should be balanced with the avoidance of excess stock levels of K&L and the consequent tying up of scarce funds. So we have this information, which is now critical for our solving. You have been given the following information. Budget average demand for K&L is 4,000 per week, and the production is maintained for 50 weeks a year. Right? The ordering cost is 150 per order. The standard material cost is 6 kwacha per kilo, and carrying cost is 33% of that figure per annum for each kilo. The maximum usage of any 1 week is 600 kilo, and the minimum is 400 kilo. On average, the order take anything from 1 week to 3 weeks to deliver after they have been ordered. That's the lead time. So they're asking us to solve these questions. So I would love if you did this question. So it's on page 33. You should try this question. I'll tell you how. You see the answers right there, but I also solve them so that you appreciate the whole thing. Just apply everything that we have learned. So let us finish up with just-in-time as the fourth system of control. With just-in-time, right, also known as lean production or stockless production or full system of production. So with this approach, the objective is producing the right parts at the right place at the right time. That's the objective of just-in-time. Like everything is there on time, just in time, right? They have actually produced it the right parts which is needed by people at the right place and at the right time. That's just in time. Like everything is perfect, right? So it is called poor system of production because they are only gonna produce something when there's demand. When somebody actually wants it, that's when they are gonna produce it, right? It's called stockless production because they do not keep inventory, right? They do not keep inventory. They are only gonna order inventory when they need it, right? Lean production, lean means small. They mean lean because you're only gonna produce what is needed on the market. Nothing more, nothing less. So that's why it's called just in time. The item just arrived on time. We just delivered the items to us, to our customer just in time, on time. That's how it works. So they also, it also says that the delivery time is fast. So whenever you order today, you're expecting that the lead time is more, maybe a day. So for this system to work, right, it needs a good system, right? A good system, right? A good logistic with your suppliers, right? For example, if it was to work, that means maybe the proximity with your supplier needs to be the shortest. They might be like adjacent buildings like this, right? But the moment you order, right, you get them. One. The other thing is you need to find a good communication or management information system that really communicates with your supplier, because you want anytime your inventory is you need inventory, the supplier should know and should respond on time, because any failure to respond on time will cause a drastic disruption of your production, right? Everything will stop because you have nothing, no reserves. So you need to have a good communication, and maybe you need to come up with a setup where your proximity with your supplier is the shortest. So this really happens in maybe industrial areas. Maybe you might find a company that produces a certain material which the other company uses as its material. So just in time could work, but just in time could not work for items that we actually import from the USA taking 30 days. It wouldn't work. So just in time is explained like that. So everything is perfect just on time. So the advantages of just in time is that it reduces stock costs due to low cost holding. So we're saying you don't actually keep a lot of stock, so that will reduce your holding cost or stock storage cost. One, less working capital is tied up because you're not actually buying a lot of inventory that you're just storing. Your working capital is never tied up, right? It avoids building up of unsold finished goods, right? You're only gonna produce when there's an order, so there's no build up of unfinished goods. Less likelihood of stock becoming obsolete. Just because you're not keeping any stock, there's no likelihood or the risk of what? Obsolete of stock. Less time is spent on checking and reworking the product of others as the emphasis is on getting the work right the first time. So with just in time, it's a system where perfection is a key thing. So you're saying you want to do the work once. That means whenever you're doing it, you are making sure that everything is perfect. You don't want to spend your time rechecking if everything's okay. So there's no time to spend on rechecking because you have done it perfectly. Those are the advantages of just in time. While the disadvantages is that there is no spare finished product available to meet an expected order. What happens if there's an expected order? Because you're not selling any finished goods in your stores, you will miss out on expected orders, right? If you had a storeroom storing finished goods, that means you would cater for unexpected orders because you are only looking for, you're just keeping in mind for those that have ordered. But what about those unexpected orders? You lose out on those. If stock is not delivered on time, the whole production schedule can delay. In case the order has not been delivered on time, that means there will be disruption, complete disruption of your production, and there is little room for mistake as minimal stock is kept for rework 40 products. Right? There's little room for mistakes as minimal stock is kept for rework 40 products. So we're saying that because we're saying that we only keep less stock, that means you are supposed to be perfect. So to be perfect, in other words, it's close to impossible, right? So whatever they're saying here is outrageous. That it's never possible to actually be perfect the first time. So because you only have limited number of stock, that means this would be a disadvantage. So that's the end of materials and material control system. So try out the question on page 33 so that you see how far, but I will do it.